Hi, I wanted to share with you some secrets. And actually, they're not secrets, there's just things that nobody ever explained to you. And I figured them out along the way, and I'm willing to share them with you because I think you might have fun with them. First of all, you have to realize that I was raised in a very strict religious background. So even talking about the things I'm going to talk about meant I was evil, a witch, I would burn in hell. I don't believe those things anymore. I don't believe a lot of what I was taught in the church. I do believe some of it, and in fact, I believe and have a very strong faith. However, it's not defined by any specific religion. I don't feel any specific religion has earned the right or has carried the dignity for me to subscribe to it. Until and unless they start doing better, I'm not interested in organized religion. I do, however, have an innate interest and affinity towards earthly and more pagan and also witchy sort of things, and one of them is tarot. Many things I like to look into in terms of witchery, but tarot is one of them, and I do not profess to be the Svengali of tarot. However, I am just your average, ordinary person, self-taught, who's learned a few things along the way. I'm going to share some of those with you. First of all, find a space that you're going to do your work in. For some of us, it's our entire house, and the people that live with me understand fully and completely that I am the queen of the house, and the entire house is my witch place. My yard is my witch place. My witch place extends to my car. It also extends to my vehicle. Well, my vehicle obviously is my car, but where I work even, what I am, I express in my environment. So I would say to you is surround yourself with an environment that supports and makes you feel comfortable in yourself. For some of you, we're all going to have different ways that we create that environment. I create my environment by a sort of museum kind of approach. I collect things, I acquire things, and I organize them in different, in my mind's eye, attractive ways. Other people would come into my house and probably be aghast because they would think it's very cluttered. But at the same time, there are people that would also go up to the clutter and be like, oh my God, you have one of those? Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time. So what I'm saying to you is this is what makes me happy. If other people want to come to my house and wear white gloves and, check the dust, fuck them. I mean, what am I going to do with that? I mean, I don't want to live life that way. I'm sure they may not want to, but, I am what I am. So develop the environment you need to in order to support yourself in your inner intuition, because that's part of being a witch too, is knowing that you have intuition and knowing that you have power beyond that which we are raised and supported in knowing. Very few of us young ladies and young men are trained as children to trust our intuition, or are trained and given the support needed in order to use our spiritual powers. Our parents sent us to church, they sent us to parochial schools, they sent us to maybe a military camp, something. All good intentions. Teach my child, show my child the way. And like me, I didn't always find those resources necessarily helpful. So moving on to tarot. So first of all, I talked about the environment, and let me sip my coffee. I've been wanting to. Make your environment. And then the other thing I would say is choose your tools. What kind of tools are you going to use as a witch? Okay, tools can be things like books. You can acquire books, different types of witchery. There's so much information out there now. You can go to Barnes and Noble and easily just go into their metaphysical area and find anything. There's so much to be found, and there's so much I don't even know. And I think I know a lot more than the average citizen does about some of this stuff. There's stuff on the internet. There's YouTubers, there's Instagrammers, there's TikTokers. There's so much information out there. be leery of people that want to sell you their information, because I think unfortunately greed overall is a disease. Greed is a disease. Greed can rot. Greed can overcome the good force. And I think that is where you get into scams and, snake oil salesmen and people just sort of being willing to sell you anything. And there are so many people out there selling you something. I'm selling you something. I'm not asking for your money, but I'm selling you something. So acquire your tools, but be cognizant of what those tools are. The tools I use a lot of symbology. I love hearts. I love black cats. I surround myself with those symbols. I love owls. I have lots of owls, red cardinals, birds, lots of little birds, lots of figurines. I do have crucifixes and crosses throughout my house. I've told people before, and I will say it again, I am absolutely in love with the idea that Jesus Christ was God's son. And until somebody proves he wasn't, I'm willing to go with it. But I don't believe we were told the true story. So that's my belief system. Another thing I love rocks. This is fluorite. This is it's a natural crystal. It's nothing man-made, I don't think. And it's got a beautiful green color. It can come in purple. I think it can come in white. All sorts of shades of the variations of green and purple and white. You know what it's for? Knowledge, intuition, good judgment. So why the hell wouldn't I wear it, right? Another thing you can look at, sorry, my cat's walking on these. Oh, absolutely have an animal. Okay, I have a black cat. Her name is Tyra. You want to say hi? Want to say hi? She said hi. Okay, she's gonna photobomb. That's just the way she is. The other thing I really like is I love beautiful tarot cards. This one right now I'm working with, it's by Liz, is it Cavendish? Nope, Liz Blackbird. Liz Blackbird. She made this beautiful deck, and I've really been enjoying it a lot. But you don't have to use that deck. You can use any deck you want. That's the beauty of it. You can use a regular deck of cards and just learn how to interpret the different numbers and suits as different things. It's really that simple. And if you don't have the money to make or to buy, make your own tarot cards, pieces of paper with similarly sized pieces of paper that you fold, that you can randomize and put in a bowl and swirl the bowl around with your finger with an intention or an inquiry. Reach in and touch that, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn this light on. It's really bright. And you're gonna pick out a card with a message, and that message could mean something to you, or it could mean something to somebody else. Start recording what those messages are. I video record because I want to go back someday and see whether what I said came true for myself. Because not everything that I read sticks out in my mind, but I can always find some little measure of a message in the reading. And I think that's the other thing you have to be, when you're listening to me or any other individual give you a reading, you are getting that reading with the emotional and psychological influence of the reader. So, for example, I have noticed there are certain readers who are very balanced. There are some readers who are very detached, and there's some readers who are very passionate. And the ones that are passionate often have kind of a black or white reading, okay? The same cards read by two different people. One is given a very positive interpretation, a romantic interpretation. The other is, he's a piece of shit, get rid of him, don't take him back, okay? And it usually manifests in a complete polar opposite of what should be done about a love situation, because most people watching tarot are romantics, and they're looking for love or money or both. And The tarot does speak to both of those. It also speaks to family situations. It's a tool. It's a tool to divinate. So I've kind of rambled on now for 10 minutes, and I think that's kind of the peak amount of time for me to be talking to you. But I just wanted to share with you how you can teach yourself these same techniques. If nothing else, even if you don't think that it works, try exercising your brain that way. Try looking at these cards, these beautiful cards. What story do they tell you? And record what that story is. And chances are you're going to get it right. And it's going to come back and you're going to be like, holy cow. So did you manifest what you predicted? Or did you predict and then manifest it? I don't know. I think there's something to it. I love it. Ta!